Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and this one is a really odd one. I'm not going to lie, I don't know exactly what to make of it, but there's a lot of, I guess, video to go over, and the long and the short of it is that in 2011, a 6-year-old boy goes missing. Now the details in that are just alone mind-blowing, but all of a sudden he turns up in Kentucky saying that he's this boy. The name is Timothy Pitzen, and that he's been held captive by two men who are bodybuilder types. Now, none of this has been confirmed, but the FBI is all over it. And I just want to play some of these clips so we can go through, because I've read the details of this case, and when you see the video surveillance and what's going on, the whole thing is absolutely insane. So here's what just went down.
Breaking news from the ABC 7 newsroom right now. 2 Aurora police detectives are heading to the Cincinnati area to help investigate the possible discovery of an Aurora boy missing for 7 years. Timothy Pitzen was last seen with his mom on a road trip to the Wisconsin Dells in 2011. Pitzen's mother was found dead in a Rockford hotel, but her son was never found this morning. A boy reportedly contacted police seeking help. FBI saying a DNA test is being performed to determine his...
So right there, you know, it seems like it's pretty legitimate. Let's make sure that doesn't go off. And so when they say road trip, that's not really the case. The father drops this kid off at school, no idea. Apparently he's having some problems with the mother at the time, but nothing that he thought anything like this would happen. The mother then picks the kid up from school. She takes him to all these crazy places, the Brookfield Zoo, a resort, and then they end up in this hotel. But again, let's play these clips right here. So the detectives are going down, and I don't know how this kid would hoax this, by the way. All right? He was 6, this kid, right? So the mom takes him. The mom apparently writes a letter afterwards. Here's some surveillance footage. Not to look for him and that he's going to be safe. With her wrist cut. Now, I don't know what was going on here. It seems very bizarre that she takes him to all these places. Maybe she's feeling guilty because she's planning on doing something horrible. Maybe selling the child. Again, why would 2 men... What would 2 men know that they were going to have a relationship together unless it was of a sexual nature and take a boy in? You see where I'm getting here? And investigators said she died of a suicide? So really, really odd stuff. Let's see what we got here. I think this is some more of that raw footage. But here it is, FBI Louisville. They're checking it out right now. Timothy said his kidnappers were white men with bodybuilder type builds and tattoos, according to Sharonville, Ohio Police Department incident report. He said he escaped and kept running across the bridge in Kentucky. They had been staying at a Red Roof Inn, but he said he did not know where. Now think about this. This is still a pretty young kid. He's 14 years old. Doesn't know much else. Gone at 6. You know, what if this woman was totally having a breakdown? She was already leaving her husband. She didn't know what to do with the child because, again, she was having mental issues. And, again, people are insane. They're insane. All right? Then she goes and she, thinks she's going to give him this great ride, and then she's going to sell him off, and then she's going to go off into the sunset. But that's not how it works out. I don't know. Maybe she did commit suicide, but it seems very odd that she would take her child first. It's not a move most people who are suicidal do. All right? So let's just read some of this Daily Mail. Let's go down it. All right? A 14-year-old found wandering the streets of Cincinnati has told police that he's Timothy Pitzen, an Aurora boy who disappeared without a trace 2011 following his mother's suicide. Okay? So bizarre. According to the police report filed on Wednesday, the boy told officers that he'd managed to flee 2 kidnappers that have been holding him for 7 years. He then detailed how he'd escaped from nearby Red Roof Inn and kept running across a bridge until he got to Kentucky. Residents who lived near the 14-year-old boy was found in Newport, Cincinnati, have said his face was bruised and he appeared very scared and agitated. Oh, don't worry, he'll be okay. One woman revealed to CBS Chicago that the boy told her he'd been running for 2 hours and that he'd been passed around for 7 years. Pitzen vanished without a trace on May 11th, 2011, shortly after being dropped off at Greenman Elementary School in Aurora, Illinois by his father. The boy, just 6 years old at the time, was later picked up by his mother, Amy Fry Pitzen, who told the school she needed to take her son home because of a family emergency. So she had this planned out. Think about this. Fry Pitzen, 43, then took her son on a 3-day holiday, visiting a zoo and several water parks, before she was found dead inside a motel room in Rockford. Police reports at the time say Fritz Pitzen checked into the motel alone without her son. An autopsy confirmed she committed suicide with a series of slashes to her wrists. Now think about this. Couldn't she just have been drugged and that's the way she was taken out? Just a possibility. I'm throwing it out there. I'm not an investigator. I wasn't there. But, you know, you got a 6-year-old kid that's running away, escaping from 2 bodybuilder-type men, saying he's been passed around for 7 years. A note left behind by the mother stated her son was safe and in the care of others, but added, "You'll never find him." Look at this poor kid. And look at that monster any way you look at it. No matter what. So right there is the child, you know, with his face hidden. Remember, bruised, agitated, saying he'd been passed around for 7 years. The boy found in Newport, Cincinnati gave police detailed description of the alleged kidnappers, who he says held him for more than 7 years. Timothy described the 2 kidnappers as 2 male whites, bodybuilder types. The police report details. One had a black curly hair, Mountain Dew shirt and jeans, and his spider web tattoo on his neck. The other was short in stature, and had a snake tattoo on his arms. He then described his captor's vehicle as a new white Ford SUV with yellow transfer paint and a dent on the rear left bumper. Pretty detailed. And a Wisconsin license plate. After speaking with police, the boy was taken to a local hospital and later transferred to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, where he remains with authorities. On Wednesday afternoon, Aurora Police Sergeant Bill Rowley said the department knows there is a boy involved, but they don't know who he is or if he has any connection to Timothy Pitzen. Again, anything's possible. Seems pretty crazy that, you know, somebody who's beaten and agitated and running away and has all these details about a young man in a case in Aurora, Illinois from 7 years ago. You know, that seems odd that he, hoaxed that, but okay. I understand why they're being careful. We have no idea if this is Timothy Pitzen, Rowley said. We don't know if it's a hoax. Obviously, everyone's hopeful, but we have to be super judicious. And, I get that because they get to the grandmother. And without seeing a picture of the kid's face, by the way, who knows? Let's see. The last known images of Pitzen and his mother were captured on CCTV camera checking out of the Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells. He was described as 4 foot 2 inches, 70-pound boy with brown hair and brown eyes and missing reports at the time. This year would mark his 14th birthday. Timothy's grandmother, Alana Anderson, said she hopes the boy is found by police in Kentucky turns out to be the missing Pitzen, but admits she isn't getting her hopes up. Don't want to say anything until I know for sure. And you know what? I get that. You look at this poor woman. She's probably been through so much. I don't know that they've been in contact with James Pitzen yet, But other than he said, I dropped Timothy off at school, and he hopped out of the back seat and ran off to school. He called in 2017, so obviously hasn't been contacted. Oh man, he said he was stunned by the woman's suicide, even though she said that he wasn't coming back and he had taken her. He didn't think she was going to kill herself, and who knows what was going on there. It just shows you true demons walk amongst us in human form, no matter what you look at that kid. Can you imagine? I mean, two bodybuilder types don't just decide to take advantage of a woman who's taking her kids to multiple water parks and the zoo, who's having a bad relationship. That demon in the yellow shirt set this up one way or another, whether she took her own life because she couldn't deal with it, or she ended up being a mark. She thought she was going to get a big payday. Like they offered her $50,000 or $100,000. Nice small child. And instead, no, she got drugged and killed. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I guess we're going to eventually find out. I guess, this is definitely a case that shows you that child trafficking is very, very real. And I have a hard time believing that somebody would hoax something like this. So that being said, guys, if you like the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell for the notifications. Remember, I do 4 videos a day over at We Are Change and Pulse Change, where I need you to subscribe and hit those notification buttons as well. But spread this information. You tell people about this and they don't understand. What kind of clientele delves in this? You got to think about these things. They're very disturbing questions, and questions many times that we have answers to right in front of us, but they're too difficult for the general public to deal with. Thanks again for joining me, and we will be back soon.